one is no good. Rebounded by Anthony. 2 seconds left. Anthony for the win. Grady rolls it. Cole Anthony gives the Magic a victory.
Close up Magic.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Close Up Magic. We're back. We had last week, great episode bringing us back to the season, little primer with CJ. Today, we are recording this Monday, October 2nd. Media Day was today, which is super exciting. It happened earlier this morning. We are recording this in the evening, actually 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And we've had a little bit of time to digest. We've had some chances to listen to 95% of the interviews. There's a couple I didn't get to, but most of them are there. You know, got to interact with some people on Twitter today and the Magic fans. It's an exciting time. It's a really exciting time. Before we get into all that, I'm just going to go ahead and bring them right up. Our guest for today, bringing back CJ Hill, my man, and then also bringing up my other man, Malik Grady. Gentlemen, what is going on? Happy Media Day evening. How are you? Doing well?
Good. Yes, sir.
Doing great. A little ashamed at how excited I was about Media Day. I told my wife, I was like, today's Media Day, baby. She's like, what the? I mean, you know, wives don't give a shit about that stuff. So.
I didn't even tell my wife. I just told her I was podcasting tonight because season's about to start. Fellas, I asked, I said it's Media Day. And in honor of Media Day, we got to wear some of our favorite Magic swag. CJ, yes. What you got going on today? What jersey you got?
You got the Polo, Mr.
Nice.
Polo.
You picked that up last season?
Yeah.
Was that at the game we all went to?
Yes, I was gonna get Jonathan Isaac, but then everybody gave me the side eye, and I was like, let me go.
You gotta do Paulo. You didn't have Paulo at the time, you know.
No, I had Franz and just a whole bunch of Franz jerseys. But like I said, I was gonna get J.I., and everybody was like,
"Don't give in to peer pressure, man." Be
mainly Malik. Malik was like, "Are you sure?" I was like,
"Bro, man, you're not on the court right now."
Yeah, hey, that's my guy. That shows I'm dedicated.
Yes,
I like that, man. I like that. You're a man of conviction.
Malik, What you got on, bro?
Well, underneath, I got my eBay special Magic shirt that I got a while back. And as my jacket, I got the bomber jacket that I had to copy from our newlywed and I believe new father, Joey, JR90 Solar Bear from the Twitter streets. He was modeling it a couple years ago. I was like, Joey, where'd you get it, man? He said Mitchell and Ness sent me a link, and I had to give a gift to myself last year. So,
dude, That thing is slick. I remember when you busted that out at the Spurs game we all went to last year. That thing is nice. I got a couple things on. I got the classic warm up. I got the classic Penny Hardaway striped, and then this doesn't really go like color tone wise, but a new hat my homie got me for the birthday over the summer. Awesome. Malik, I think we both have the same plan. It's way too hot for these jackets right now.
I have a fan down here to kind of keep my undercarriage cool, so we'll see how long it lasts, man.
Oh yeah,
it's funny wearing that warm up. It's kind of like if you wore that on the court, people would be like, you pull it for a shot. People would be like, Reddick. You know how back in the day, whenever you wore something, they call you by the name of that. So just bring me back.
Definitely not wearing that. By the way, I'm a NBA.com. China. So just being honest is where I get my product right now.
Nice.
Anyways, well, all right, guys, Media Day is here. Before we get really into Media Day, I want to ask one more warm-up question because we are getting ready to training camp starts tomorrow. Preseason, I think, starts. I can't remember I think it's like the 13th might be the first game or something like that, but it's like right around the corner.
We have 2 road games, coming up quick, and then I think home October 10th.
So what's the first Magic game you guys are hoping to go to?
Well, I think CJ and I, the second week of preseason games, there's 2 home games, the 10th and the 17th or the 12th, 17th, something like that Tuesday and Friday.
That's what's up.
I'm trying to see if I can get down for that Tuesday. If I can't make that happen, make that Friday game. The Friday game is like against some Brazilian team, Flamengo. Like it's not a real team.
The
Tuesday game is against the Pelicans. They'll be sitting everybody, but at least it'll be real NBA players. So that's what I'm hoping to get to. But right now we just have one car. We're trying to buy another car, so I got to do some logistics. But that's what I'm trying to make happen. We'll see what happens.
You guys gonna go to you got a regular season game outlined for you yet?
I haven't even looked at the schedule, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I have some players that I want to see, but
maybe the first game. Maybe the first game because
got to go to opening game if you have
opening night.
That's too much fun not to go to. I just booked a trip back to Florida for my dad's 70th, and I think I'm
happy
also
birthday, Mr. Steven.
Oh man, I'm psyched. I am psyched to also bring my dad. We're going to go to one of the cup games, the play-in tournament games.
I love it.
So that'll be fun versus the Raptors. So that's exciting. Yeah, and then I'll do a couple more. But all right. Before we get into that, I'm gonna take you guys off stage for a second. I'm gonna do the housekeeping stuff. Listeners of the show, just want to remind you all we are presented by 19 Media Group. They are a great podcast network. They have loads of different podcasts. They have football, basketball, social, political stuff. That's not the words I'm looking for. Pop culture, music. There's all sorts of stuff. So make sure you go check out 19 Media Group. They're on Twitter, and they are also on 19media.com, where you can check out all the different podcasts that they support on the network. For us, you can do a couple things to support us. A couple really big ones are like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube and watching this, that helps us a lot. We're trying to get to 500 viewers, subscribers this season on YouTube. So that'd be dope if you guys could help us get there. We're over 300 now, which is awesome, but we want to keep growing there. And then if you listen to this old school way on the podcast platforms, whatever podcast platform you're listening to, go ahead and leave a review. That definitely helps us in the searchability as well. Financially, if you want to support this podcast, you can do it by joining the Patreon program that we have. We have a couple different tiers starting at $3 going up to $10 with some different benefits there. You can check that out in the description below. And also we do have some basic merch for the show that you can check out: hats, t-shirts, sweaters, mugs, all sorts of like random things. That is also in the link below. So check that out. All right. Gonna bring these guys back up on stage. And guys, let's get into it. Media Day was today. I was working today. I was listening to some interviews live as they were happening. I kind of got over the sit down table talk with Kendra, and then I started, like, as things were getting uploaded to the site, I was listening to those interviews where it's like the media group interviewing the player or coach one-on-one. What did you think of today's media expectation, or like media day on social media and on just on the interviews and all that stuff? And I'll just start off by saying this. I enjoyed it. I thought some people asked some really nice questions with some really cool answers that we will get into shortly. I think my biggest complaint is that I couldn't hear half the questions being asked in the media circle. It was really, really low. And I feel like, dude, we're in 2020 now. I feel like there should be a microphone that just gets passed around to all the media members. It
happens at UF too, dude.
Yeah. It shouldn't be that hard. We're in 2023 to do that. And then I also was thinking, like, they did a good job on social media, posting some fun clips. It looks like there was a lot of really cool activities going on in the center where, different stations for them all to go to. But I was also thinking, man, like, they're doing this like YouTube broadcast, but there's some dead time in between interviews with people. They should have a co-host there, so Kendra and maybe Dante or someone else are providing some banter and conversation in between interviews.
Keeping the hype going.
Yeah, like, make it a legit broadcast, even though it's like a couple hundred or a few thousand of us tuning in. I think it would just allow them to have more content to, like, then splice up. And
it was 3 hours long. So yeah, you had a lot of dead time. I mean, I haven't watched it, but I looked at the final tally of what it was.
A minute.
3 hours. I was fast forward and doing double speed and stuff, but that was a real opportunity that you could have. I mean, hopefully it's a beginning, and next time they'll do that. But
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only do so much. And honestly, there's only so many people that are into Media Day, like the diehards. Casuals do not care about Media Day, So
not at all.
It's a small community of us that are like, I would watch it live. Malik, since you were riffing there, what did you think of the whole presentation of Media Day today?
Well, it was nice to see Kendra make her debut. She definitely showed herself well. You could tell why she was hired.
Absolutely.
I definitely enjoyed Mackenzie Thurkill's time with the Magic, but I'm not sure if she had the wherewithal to be able to do live stuff the way Kendra obviously was able to, in the moment, take jabs from players, and Mosley trying to avoid questions and be able to go back and forth with them. And you saw how she interacted with, I mean, I don't know if I saw how she interacted with the rest of the staff. Dante came around. You saw the GOAT of the voice of the Magic talking with her as well. So it was just cool to see that camaraderie. I think she's going to be great with the Magic on camera, that kind of thing.
I do too.
Beyond that, I like seeing all the interviews. I think everyone seemed really excited and svelte, and that they had been in the gym all summer and healthy, which was nice. So it's always good vibes on media day, except when your starting point guard kicks a coffee table. And since that didn't happen, we're all good, baby.
Good.
Let's ride.
Malik, what did you think of the presentation and everything that went on with media day? I'm
kind of with you. Same thing. How you felt about it, and a little bit of how Malik felt. I think Kendra did a good job. She really connected with the players. So it was fun. For us diehards, we wanted to hear the real juicy questions and stuff like that. So we go that way, and then we could take a step back and just go the direction and just enjoy what Kendra's doing with the guys and just seeing everybody interact with each other. So
all cotton candy.
Yeah, I think it was cool. Especially her sitting down and talking to Jet and AB. It was really cool. Their interaction together during the interview.
I thought with Kendra particularly, I thought that typically those types of interviewers are asking a little bit more lighthearted questions, not getting super deep. But I thought she did ask a couple of fun questions that had a little bit slightly more depth to it, talk, like she asked a couple of players, like, what are your feelings going into the big road trip right at the beginning of the season? And I was like, wow, that's a great question to ask, and not
and
just.
Of course, Chuma didn't know about it.
Yeah, which is hilarious. But
he's like, road trip. Oh man,
I thought it was. I thought overall they did a good job. I'm being nitpicky about they should make a big broadcast because it's probably a pretty big reach. But I do think the small win would be let's give all the reporters a microphone to ask from, because I got to hear, in a sense, HQ's. I was on a live stream with on YouTube or Instagram with Magic HQ a little bit, and I could actually hear the reporters' questions more clear from them because they had a microphone on their camera, I'm assuming, than I could on the stream from the Magic broadcast. So that was interesting.
Maybe next year they can separate it. Maybe they take them into another side room or something like that, so they actually can ask questions and be a little more intimate.
Just pass the microphone around, have two people. They got media people there that can pass them around.
You got guys yelling in the background doing promos and stuff like that, so it was kind of weird.
And then Cole yelling in the background on every other interview.
That was funny.
Yeah,
such a wild person.
Going into media day, CJ, what were you hoping to see and kind of get out of it?
Just to see how the rookies, more so AB than Jet. Jet seems a little bit more smooth with his delivery and more media trained, but just to see how how they're getting comfortable with actually getting asked questions and being inside the organization and doing the day-to-day stuff. So I think they did good. I think for the most part, their questions or their answers to the questions were they're transitioning good and they're ready to start the season. So that was huge. And also just to hear that the whole entire team has kind of adopted them, especially Joe, and I think one of them said Joe and Jalen. Jalen actually picked AB up from the airport. So just to see that as soon as they,
cool.
So just to see as soon as they touched down, everybody just welcomed them with open arms and kind of got them situated.
It's funny hearing Jalen say, talking to these kids and stuff. Be like, wait, I'm only 2 years old. I'm calling them kids.
Right? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And I know you're like super psyched on these rookies that we drafted. And so those being your expectations of what you're wanting to hear was cool. And I got to listen to both Jet and Anthony's interviews. I didn't listen to the ones with Kendra, but I listened to the ones, with the media group, and they did great, man. I was really psyched on it. They know they're going to be here, put in the work. It sounds like they've been putting in the work. And like you said, already getting integrated with the team, and Joe Ingles just doing the thing, man. Like I love how he's already the vet. This is sort of like a something we're going to bring up later, but one of the themes that we connected with already, and you hinted it there, is Joe Ingles, and like everyone loves him. And I think we can get more into that here in a minute, but before we get too far down that path, I do want to pass that same question to Malik and hear what you were most excited for and hoping to hear going into Media Day.
Well, there's a couple of things I was hoping for that I knew I wouldn't get, but hope springs eternal. I want to know specifically how they were going to maybe increase Cole Anthony getting threes. I also wanted to hear from J.I., you're healthy, but are you healthy? Are you having that? Is there swelling? Is there pain? Are you sitting out? I know I wouldn't get those, but that's what I wanted. But
sure, yeah.
But beyond that, I just wanted to get the vibes and hear what was going on. So I got mostly the stuff that I knew I would get outside of the fantasy things that I thought, the hard-hitting questions and Weltman, why did you do? That's not what this is for. You're not going to get those answers, but I always hope that maybe one time they'll break down, like, good cop, bad cop, and Weltman would be like, oh, I'm going to sign everybody to an extension. I'm making a trade next. Oh, what did I see? That kind of stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like, I had a couple of things I wanted to hear. Shout out to Jonathan at the 6-Man Show for asking one of them about, what's going on with extension talks with Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony. We'll get back into that in a little bit. So I was like, we did hear a couple of questions like that. We did hear, some lineup questions, and I'm glad we got some of a handful of tougher questions asked. I'm sad that not sad. We got the fluff answer for a lot of them, the scripted answer. They're
good, man. They're good.
I don't think
Fort Knox.
I don't think Welt was expecting the extension question because it wasn't as scripted. He did give an appropriate answer, but it wasn't as scripted as everyone saying the same thing about lineups and like positional. Like, have you had your conversation about position? Everyone's like on the same page, like, oh, it's we gotta compete for it, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's just going to put in the work, and I'm not worried about that. That'll all get sorted out later kind of stuff. But, I was excited about that. It was great. Like you mentioned, Malik, about J.I. It does sound like we don't know the super specific details about like
so far so good
swelling up the day after you have a really intense day. But it sounds like he's going to be fully available to play to whatever capacity that is. I imagine there's some restrictions there, but I think there was a nice balance of asking some tough questions that might have some answers answered. And I think we got a few of those. Asking some questions that should be asked, even though we know there's going to be an answer behind it. Yeah. But I think it's good to ask those types of questions anyways, just because it allows the front office to know, like, hey, we want to know what's going on in these areas. These are things we're thinking about. And the more those types of questions get asked, despite the scripted responses, maybe we'll get some more openings into those areas at some point soon in the way. So I thought that was healthy. And then we got like the fun stuff, which I thought was great too. Well,
cool. One thing, Steven, did you I liked when Jonathan Isaac, they're asking the questions, and they asked him about the surgery he had right after the season, and he's so casually, he's like, honestly, the injury was only 6 weeks. For the last month and a half, I've been playing with the guys. Like, it's nothing. Like, this isn't the first training camp he's been in for 4 years. I just love the vibes. It's being like, I'm not sure everybody's making a big deal about it. I mean, I know 2019 is when I last played, but really, I don't see what the fuss is about. You know,
I think the difference between this,
thing, you know?
I think the difference with JI though, between this camp and like even last year, like last year he was playing, he was doing, you know, exercises, and I think he was even playing basketball with people and, you know, doing different things within practice. And like, it was like, cool, he's going to return soon. Right. That soon got pushed out pretty far to like after the new year. But like, I don't think that timeline was necessarily established back then. So I think there was some question like, yeah, maybe I'm not playing opening day, but maybe I'm playing in like November. Right. Versus, you know, this year it's like, I'd be surprised if he's not playing opening day at this point. Right. Just the way people are speaking.
And plus last year we had whatever maintenance plan or comeback plan Lindsay Winninger had set up based on how she has dealt with skiers for the last 15 years. Whereas now you have Arnie Kander, who's actually been with the Pistons for 30 years with NBA players. And I mean, we'll see. The proof is in the pudding, but we'll see how things go this time around and everything like that. So that's just interesting. Yeah.
What I like to hear about all this stuff with JI is like, you know, when he had that injury last season after the 11 games or whatever, they said it was going to be a minor surgery, right? And it was minor. Like they did it. He said he was back in 6 weeks, and he's had most of the summer to work out, you know, which is great. So they said something, it was accurate, and we're going into it. Like, that's really nice. That's refreshing. And we even heard, not necessarily from like Magic, you know, people themselves, but through like random podcasts that JI appeared on over the summer as he's like launching his clothing brand, that he was feeling really good and he was playing well. And we saw some images here and there pop up of him like feeling good and playing without braces and stuff. So it does sound like this is the most positive offseason he's had. And again, I would be concerned if he's not playing opening day.
Well, what if it's just as casual as he is, where he's carefree, casual, but what if this year JI is just back and he's just playing?
That would be
I know
amazing.
It's wild to think.
We'll take it.
Because it's been like 4 years. But what if it's like, JI coming off the bench, plays about 30 minutes a game, and he's awesome.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
This is life now. But it changes everything, because all year in the summer, I was like, okay, Anthony Black's playing here because I was not counting JI. But if JI is back, the calculus is completely different. Totally. I mean, it really is. So.
Yeah, it does change a lot of things if he is back and able to contribute on a regular basis. I imagine there's still some maintenance stuff that are going to go on, not playing back to back.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, maybe if it's a 4 game and 7 nights, 8 night type of thing, maybe they put out some sort of minute restrictions on some of those games.
Plus he has hair appointments to get his hair edged up just right. I mean,
he's got to go do some consulting.
That dude doesn't do itself,
clothing
bro.
Brand, you know.
Christ isn't doing that hair, bro. Okay. Anyway.
So I don't know. I'm excited, man. This is every season the last couple of years I've been pessimistic about Jonathan Isaac. For some reason I've been really optimistic about what he's going to be able to do this year. And maybe I am getting my hopes up too much, but I'm very excited for what he could do. Because if he's back, man, like it's sick, you know, like even if it's back on 20 minutes a game, like for 50, 60 games, that's a really nice contribution if he can also do that. And then, you know, hopefully contribute to a play-in or playoff if we're so lucky to be in that situation, you know.
Amen.
Cool. All right. We're going to pause for half a second, do some ad reads for our sponsors of this show. All right, guys, this show is brought to you and supported by a couple of fun sponsors. The first one is NBAstore.com, or the NBAstore.com. You can go there through my affiliate link in my description, and you can buy NBA gear. You can buy authentic Penny Hardaway jerseys. You can buy authentic Magic hats. You know, all sorts of stuff. You can buy the new throwback jerseys, anything Magic you wanted. I just ask that you do it through the link in the description, because what that affiliate link does is you're going to get to purchase something at, you know, whatever prices are going on in the store. And it just gives me a small little kickback. It's just a nice partnership that we've been able to create with the NBA store. The second sponsor of the show that we have going on, the second partnership, I'll say, because it's another affiliate program, again, where you pay for the service, and I'll get a kickback is Atlas VPN. And the reason why I actually have a say in what sponsors I want to partner with these types of affiliates. And I turn down most of them because I only want to support sponsors that I think actually have value to my listeners. Obviously, the Magic or the NBA store is a no-brainer, but this one is maybe not. I think it's a no-brainer too, because watching the Magic and NBA is too hard for people, particularly if you live in your local area, you're a cord cutter. What streaming package should I sign up for? Actually, I'm going to bring up Malik and CJ for this one. Yo, guys. So, Malik, you live in Gainesville. How do you have to watch NBA games, Magic games last season? What did you have to do?
I got to go Bally Sports Plus. I had done DirecTV stream the year before. Did not like it. And so I pay the $20 a month for Valley Sports Plus. So I'm hoping for a Utah Jazz-like situation at some point.
And but you still had some issues here and there with all that too, didn't you?
Yeah, well, and that's why I have to use that, because I can't get League Pass because I'm in Florida.
You're in the blackout zone. Yeah, you're in the blackout zone. And CJ, how do you go about watching Magic basketball?
It's on Bally's. I got it through Spectrum, so
doing that.
Cable.
Yeah.
Well, so for someone who's local and doesn't want to go through Bally's or have to deal with blackouts and stuff like that, VPN, man, Atlas VPN. I'm excited to partner with them. They're the leading solution to ensure your online privacy security. Are you tired of feeling vulnerable to online threats, worried about your personal information? It's really good stuff like that. But also, it's really good to change your location because you want to watch League Pass of this team in this area and it's a blackout date, or you want to watch a national televised game, but it's blacked out. Again, we all deal with blackouts for basketball and sports, and it's really frustrating. Well, a VPN will allow you to do that. So go ahead, sign up for Atlas VPN. They're super solid. Really psyched about this partnership. Use the affiliate link in the description. All right.
Nice, dude.
Cool. All right. Malik, I'm going to pass this one to you, man, and then I'll send it to CJ. What was the most surprising aspect of Media Day for you?
Let's see. I really liked the attitude and vibes of Jalen Suggs. He didn't just talk about, I've been working on my shooting, more flexible. He really, first of all, just looked really peaceful, really happy, really present. He talked about how he had worked on his mental health and meditation and being grateful for where he's at and that kind of thing, and how he had really connected with Arnie Kander, who, if anyone's seen his stuff on Instagram, he's quite a crunchy dude, old hippie type of a guy and stuff.
Wendell Carter was
the young guys
too.
Yeah, that the young guys have really responded to. He took a couple guys up to the West. I don't want to say the Badlands, and you saw Jed Howard and Anthony Black up there in the mountains, kind of just getting their vibes. Took some guys out to Red Rock, like basically some field trips with the kids, basically. But that whole vibe with Jalen Suggs, seeing how present he looked, and just he's a guy, everything except for some of the stuff on the court. He's a guy that you think is going to succeed, and you want to succeed. He's such a personable guy, good looking, interesting, the way he speaks, connects with people and stuff. So if he can finally get the stuff on the court going, the stuff off the court as a person, he seems he's already like a star, like the camera wants him. And obviously, his hair's going. This is the last year we're going to have, full head of hair for my man Suggs. But, once he Fourniers it up, he's going to be good to go. But it's like I'm looking forward to seeing what he what he does with that, and I liked his vibe. So that's
all too worried about man's hair.
Right.
I mean,
oh man,
it's the entertainment business, man, and I love bald heads. I mean, CJ's got a bald head. You know what I'm saying? So
this is my thing, right? These basketball players are taller than all of us. Maybe not you, Malik. You're a pretty tall individual, but like these basketball players tower over most people.
Yeah, nobody's worried about
why we even know they're bald is because we see them from a top down. The average person walking around the streets, they have no idea these guys are bald.
They're like chest level.
See the hairline, it's funny.
Well, yeah.
Where you really notice it is where people are trying to hang on. You're like, bro, like LeBron, like all the stuff he's doing. And honestly, I celebrate it. Hey, you're a multimillionaire. do what you got to do, get plugs and whatever stuff. But we all see what's happening.
Man.
There was a year back in the day, Carlos Boozer was putting shoe polish on his head, and it was dripping down his face. You probably remember this, Steven, but back in the day, this really happened. This man was balding and put on black stuff on his head that was melting on live television.
I'm not really watching the hairlines too much, but I hear you.
So,
if your head melts down your face, you're gonna notice it.
So Jalen Suggs was your was your surprise of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what's up. Malik or CJ, what was your surprise of the day? Was it hairlines or was it something a little bit more?
Something a little bit more. I mean, I'm already there, so I don't really care about hairlines.
Same.
I just think that everybody just spoke so highly of, was it Ernie, the guru?
Arnie Kander.
Arnie Kander, yeah. So everybody just spoke so highly of him, man. It's weird, like, you go from, like, all these guys are injured and nobody's doing Pilates and nobody's doing anything to you get a guy in, now they're doing all these different things, and it's refreshing. It's refreshing to hear. It's refreshing to hear. So,
Wendell Carter even talked about it, and he's like, it's he talked about he's like into meditation and stuff like that, and like really big on mental health. And then also like, they talked about like the preparation that goes into your body. Mm-hmm. I feel like that was just something that I didn't expect to hear today. Like
holistic.
You always hear of people talking about like, oh yeah, I was in the lab all summer, like working on my shot, working on my dribble. Yes. But like everyone talked about working on their body and getting it ready, which is like really refreshing. And I'm sure a lot of people were, doing that beforehand, right? These guys have been working on their bodies for a long time. But just really hearing that theme was a really like nice refresher. And again, it's something we're not used to because for the last multiple years, we've been such an injury team, going into the season, whether it's Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris.
Worried about his jumper.
We always have something, right? And this time it's like, no, like everyone's healthy and they got to like work and stay on their health and not just like, Jonathan Isaac was done rehabbing early into summer, and like, Wendell Carter Jr. got to like properly rest his foot and see how that is, hopefully manage that to a better situation. Jalen Suggs, first healthy offseason, like outside of his rookie year, going into his rookie. So it's like super huge for him. So that was super refreshing. I expected some talk on that, but I didn't expect it to be as bountiful it was.
Right.
It's a good call.
The other surprising thing, but maybe not necessarily surprising, this kind of connects to like the theme question, is how everyone loved Joe Ingles. That they would bring up his name and they just smile, right?
Yeah.
And this dude's been in Orlando for like a month and a half, 2 months, and he's already like made such an impact with these players, from the rookies to Gary Harris, that they're already like forming bonds and smiling and connecting. You hear Jet at the very beginning of his thing, how did you turn in 40? Like messing with no, that was Anthony. Sorry, Anthony. No, that was Jet Howard. Sorry. But it was, just little things like that was really funny. And then the thing that I think not surprised me, but like when I heard Joe's interview, it just checked every box for me. I immediately texted
what you wanted.
It's what I've wanted forever. Yeah. And Malik, you and I have talked about this forever about the type of vets I want. And it's like, he checked the box on everything. He is someone who was ready to embrace this situation and be a leader. He had reasons to choose Orlando over other places. He was picky because he mentioned he has a son with autism, and he needs a school that can, be a really good a supporter for his child, and like Orlando has those resources apparently that met his family's needs. So that was like a really important factor in his decision making, which was cool. So there's some stability there with his mindset and how he is approaching life as an older NBA player that can kind of mentor these younger players. Right. Also, like he talked about it. He's been on tons of teams that have won a lot of games, right? Almost every team he's ever played on has had a playoff run into some capacity. And that is experience that even our most vetted players, outside of Gary Harris, like Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz, they're the most vetted experienced players on our team. They've both played one playoff round, not even together, and they're both first round exits in 5 games. So it's like we don't really have that experience that he has as a winner playing high level, high pressure basketball that he's going to be able to help prepare this younger team with him and Gary Harris, which is cool. Eads a little bit of load off Gary Harris as having another older person. Gary Harris is 28, older, but not quite, at that next stage of life yet. And Joe can play. He can play, a smaller role, doesn't have to have the pressure of being a starter, but can easily contribute and spot start if need to, if injuries happen. And, but probably also cool to not play a game if for some reason he's not the right fit or call for that night. So, I was psyched to hear how he talked about the team and the integration and why he chose Orlando. So that was pretty cool.
Well, I want to piggyback on what you're saying about Joe Ingles. That was, you're right. That was a very fascinating interview. It was almost like 15 minutes they talked with him. First, I think the media really appreciated him. That he's going to be the go-to quote this year. I can assure you. But the one thing that hit me, Mavs Draft pointed out in his interview, he said that Joe Ingles credited Jamal Mosley as a key reason for him signing with the Magic because they had mutual acquaintances and friends they had talked about. And then when he played the Magic's teams, he liked how Mosley had coached the players and coached guys and stuff. I did point out to Richard that I think there were at least maybe 22 million other reasons why Joe Ingles chose the Magic, but obviously Coach Mosley helped. Don't get me wrong. But it was just neat to have. We've been looking for added value with Mosley because usually when a coach is with a lottery team, they usually get the team up to a certain level, and it's like, all right, we'll see you later. Now we're getting a real coach. Enjoy the money we gave you. Go on to a nice life. There are a select few that make that transition and get to when you actually get to be winning. And we're looking for signs that Mosley is that type of guy. We haven't seen that many. We do like the camaraderie where the team believes in him and stuff. But on the court, have we seen a lot to say, oh, this is definitely the guy that's going to be getting us the promised land? I don't know. But luring a key free agent, at least even in passing, talking about, hey, that's nice, especially because we want someday to be welcoming a certain Balkan individual, Luka Doncic, coming down the road. We'd love him to change his blue from Maverick blue to Magic blue. It's a long shot, but we'd love it. Coming down the road to see his old friend Mosley. So we're hoping anything that feeds that agenda, I'm all for.
Yeah, man, it was good. And, Mosley had a good media day too. He talked about like needing to bring this team to the next level. He talked about the competition that is going to happen within training camp, the battles that this team's going to be able to have with players. Obviously we got the everyone's going to, we'll see who earns their spot. No one's gifted minutes this time, which is cool. I feel like that is a scripted answer, but I also feel like that's an honest anscer in certain cases, right?
It feels real this time with all the guys. Yeah, I forgot about Caleb Houston. I was like, oh yeah, he's here too, and that's so.
I think
I'm not really buying it, but okay.
Do you think guys will be gifted anytime? You think?
Let's dig in. What are you not buying? What do you think?
I'm not buying. I mean, I get guys. I get they're actually like saying, okay, we're gonna fight for minutes, but I feel like they kind of know who they want to play already. I mean, it is.
I think to an extent, I agree.
Yeah, to an extent, like
we know no one's competing for the starting center spot. We know no one's competing for the starting small forward and power forward spot with Paulo,
right.
But like, I think there could be some competition in the second unit, like. If Chuma for some reason is having an awesome training camp and is shooting well, I could easily see him getting the minutes over the rookies.
I think it's just a talk, just to kind of get guys, because if you continue to gift them minutes, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you say, hey, listen, if you want to play, you have to actually try.
You're saying it's kind of setting the stage and the culture. I guess what I'm thinking is that in years past, lottery picks like Jet Howard and Anthony Black would have been guaranteed 10 to 15 minutes a night just to see what they are. And this year does not seem to be the case for that. That they might get their 10, 15 minutes, but it's been because they've earned it. Otherwise, they're going to be behind J.I. and Ingles, maybe even Kevon Harris, because these guys are ready to play. Some grown men that are, hey, listen, that's cute and all. We want to win.
It's not a bad thing if they sit, 50% of the season they sit behind Ingles and J.I. Like they got a lot to learn. It's not like, they're sitting because they can't play. They actually
political.
I think another area where it's going to be competitive to decide is who's the backup center, right? Between Mo Wagner and Goga Bataze. I don't think that is going to. I don't think that's decided. I don't think there's an agenda there yet. I think that's going to be a training camp decision.
Well, especially because last year, Moritz was coming into the year with a little bit of injury stuff, so he wasn't quite himself. And Goga, when he came in, he was basically still trying to be rehabilitated confidence-wise from Indiana. Now both guys are at the height of their powers, confidence. Moritz has the gold medal. Hey, can't tell me nothing. Different fit, different needs. But CJ, I do agree. Like there are obviously I do agree that the non-script is like, okay, we know the starters are pretty much set. Maybe there's a little bit of a battle for the shooting guard position to see who could win that. Maybe that's a little bit up in the air, but unless for some reason Cole turns into God and Anthony Black is the best rookie to touch the earth, we know Fultz is going to be the starting point guard, and there could be some competition for shooting guard with Gary Harris and Jalen Suggs. We'll see how that goes. I think there is some questions. Come on, Jalen.
I have, Gary Harris is really, Malik thinks Suggs is going to get it right away. I think maybe Suggs will get it. Maybe he'll earn it a little bit into the season, but I kind of think Harris will get it right away. But I think that is up for a debate and something that will be decided within training camp and preseason.
Either way, it's good for the team to have that competition, pushing each other.
It is a scripted answer, but I think there's some truth to the script within a percentage. Yeah. Cool. So what were some of the biggest disappointments for you with what we didn't get answers from? And Malik, I'll pass this to you first. Actually, I'm going to start this one first. All right. Then I'll pass it to you guys. My expected but sort of biggest disappointment was we didn't get any clarity on the contract extension talks with Jalen Cole Anthony and Markelle Fultz. Shout out to Jonathan with 6-Man Show. I didn't think anyone was actually going to ask this question, and you did. So major props there. And I do think it threw well off guard a little bit because, he answered it and he answered it very fine and well, but, it didn't sound super scripted. And basically what he said was, and maybe you guys interpreted it differently, and please jump in if you heard something different, but it sounded like he said, it doesn't sound like anything's been decided yet. It sounds like they're talking to the representatives. Yeah. It sounds like I was kind of picking up tones like, hey, they might let things play out for a little bit and then see what goes on during the season. And maybe by the deadline, there'll be some more reasons for them to come to an agreement. But it didn't sound like there's any agreements going on right now. Doesn't mean
here's the thing with
extensions, but it didn't sound like they were on the same page to sign an extension today for any reason.
Well, here's the thing with Markelle Fultz. There are reasons why the Magic would want to obviously get something signed because if they think it's going to blow up and retain the asset, that type of thing. But we're literally on day 2 of them being able to negotiate. So when you talk about, contentious or in the middle of the negotiations, that's where we are. He might have been on the agent before he came to the arena, being like, hey, what's up, just touching base. I know we had some talks yesterday. We'd love to have Markelle. I just want to find that good number and stuff. I'm going to the arena now. Text me if you need me. That's probably where they are right now because they can sign an extension anytime until the end of the season. Well, I'm just saying, it's kind of combination. Well, you know how it is. But I'm saying that they're literally like 2 days into negotiations for what's something that can really affect the future of the franchise because he's either going to be a free agent after this year, or you're kind of investing in him either right now or as a future asset, that kind of thing. So I think you picked up on something for real, because I think they're in the middle of negotiations with him. Cole, maybe not, because they've been negotiating with him all summer. I think that'll come up to the deadline, whether or not they get to something.
He's also a restricted free agent. They have more leverage over
exactly.
the next.
They have more options. But with Markelle, on Saturday night or whatever it was, that was when they could finally start negotiating. And it's a big deal. It's an important step. Whatever they choose is a big step for the franchise.
And I could see Markelle not wanting to sign something right now and wanting to play a little bit into the season to increase his value. You see what I'm doing on the court this first 15 games of the season? This is what I want. I also could just see this is an evaluation season for this team. Again, evaluation with different expectations, right? They're not evaluating and going to tank and hope for another lottery pick. They're going to evaluate and hope for some winning and get into the play-in and be a competitive team this year. But they are still evaluating. So there are some concerns. I mean, not concerns. They're not afraid to let guys hit free agency. They've retained plenty of guys that have hit free agency. Vucevic hit free agency. Evan Fournier hit free Terrence Ross hit free agency.
Yeah, Ross, Harris.
Gary Harris hit free agency, right? And these are all guys that ended up. Aaron Gordon hit free. They didn't negotiate Aaron Gordon's, I don't think. No, they did. They actually did negotiate Aaron Gordon's.
Yeah.
But
he got the free agency, yeah.
He was in the restricted free agency for that one. But they're not afraid to let people hit free agency and then work out that next step. And that also could potentially be something that's going on with Markelle Fultz, because they've done that in the past too. So I'm not overly worried about it. I did just think it was interesting that it wasn't a super solid answer. It was more we're talking, we're going to keep it internal. We'll see what happens. Right.
Yeah. And with the way they responded, the way they responded was just they're not even going to worry about the money right now, because Kel retweeted the Giannis post.
Did you see that?
Yeah, he knows he can get more money. If he waits until the summertime. Same thing with Cole. They asked Cole about how he felt about negotiations. He was like, "I that's up to my people. I'm not even worried about it." So those responses kind of tell me hey, we're not gonna extend now. Just wait till the summertime, because it makes more sense for Fultz, and then also it makes more sense for Cole to kind of, both who can prove what they can do and then go get paid. So,
well, it's interesting. Earlier today, I think Steven made a joke about Markelle. Say, hey, maybe he's going to want to retire. So he's made $70 million, which was obviously a joke.
$69 million.
$69 million.
Right? I would never joke about 70. I did think he should have had career 69 earnings.
I did miss that part with your amorous tendencies. My mistake. You're right. But here's the thing: is that Cole, for a guy who's had the TOS, the shoulder issues, ACL issues, the broken toe, locking in a contract which will likely be more than he's made up to this point in his career, because it's going to be more than $70 million, could be 80, however much money and stuff.
Depends on years.
That could really mean something to him. As a guy with two kids who wants to be a leader of a franchise, was a former number one pick. I'm not saying he's take the money and run, but there's going to be some value to a guy who's had those type of injuries and has seen so much at age 25 to be hey, this team wants to invest in me, and it's a number that I like. Hell yeah, I'm taking it. I'm going to proudly have Magic over my jersey, because we've all heard Markelle talk about how he felt embraced, how he felt, appreciated by Orlando. And, I'm a type to get sappy. Steven is a little more pragmatic, obviously, and stuff. But it's a good story, dude. I mean, he was given up on by Philly. Their fans were throwing dirt on him, saying all kinds of stuff about him. And now he's playing. He's got his kids. I mean, the cutest behind kid you ever see.
Yeah, but he's also seeing the business now. He's seen the business of this team. They traded away one of the.
It might not work out, but if it does, it's a great story.
I hear you, though. I hear you. It is a nice story. For sure.
And it's cash money.
It is a nice story, but we'll see what happens. This is a business ultimately, and the Magic have reasons to continue to want to see more for these guys, which is
an option.
I'm excited. I'm excited to have them see more.
It can go all the way up to April. That's the thing. You can negotiate and extend with him all the way up to the end of the year. There's nothing imminent, but there is some value to getting it locked in before the season. All of a sudden, you're like, "This is my squad. What's up?"
Totally. Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. I just thought it was interesting how well went about that, and it just, it gave
You're right
me
on the money, man.
It
You're
just
right on
gave
the
me
money.
it gave me not assurance. It just was like, yeah, they're probably not close on anything with either one of them, which is fine. I'm not worried about it, but it's just interesting. Like a lot of us thought there was going to be extensions agreed on like pretty quickly. Even I think it was Adam Papa Giorgio this morning said he wouldn't be surprised if the Markelle extension was announced today. Because, like, man, I know they weren't allowed to talk extensions until the other day. We all know they were talking extensions.
You can talk to the agent whenever you want to.
Yeah, like they were talking. They've been talking since last year, probably last season, about what potential extensions could look like and just gauging people's interests and stuff like that. So, like, tampering happens all the time. I'm not. They're definitely
for sure.
Cool. All right. We've been running for 50 minutes. Let's try and wrap this up in the next 10. What other connecting themes did you guys pick up from today's media day? And CJ, I'm going to pass this one to you first.
Connecting themes. That's a good question. The JI is going to be playing pretty much all over the court. I think Kendra asked him what position he will be playing. And he said he was open to do anything. Any amount of minutes, restrictions. Like he's just down to be in the rotation and be a part of the team, which is cool. That lets you know he's a team player and that's somebody that, you actually need on your team. So that was pretty dope. Hearing AB and Jet say that, they're down to do whatever. I think that's a good thing. Like, especially when we have a big group of guys like this, just hearing that everybody just wants to work together and be a family and be a team. It kind of gave me the 2012 vibes with Dwight when we had such a deep team. We had like Ryan Anderson and Brandon Bass. We can just mix and match off the bench like that. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with this team. Like the minute thing, like who's going to play the rotation stuff, it doesn't really bother me too much because I think about that team and how, moving forward and where we're trying to get to, you need, a full team.
Sorted out, yeah.
Yeah, it'll sort itself out, but
injuries
you
are
just need
going to
depth.
happen. We're healthy now, but it won't stay healthy forever. There's little nicks and things that happen. Hopefully, no major injuries. But yeah, I do agree with that, man. That theme of like working together, being willing to, be flexible with how you play, where you're playing was a theme I definitely heard and picked up as well. I did totally skip bringing back the biggest disappointment of media day to you guys. We'll circle back to that. But Malik, I did want to hear what was one of the themes that you picked up on today that you were super psyched on.
Well, I think the thing for me was just attention to the details of what's going to help them take the next step. When you heard Paolo and Franz talk, they were both like, well, we're 20 and 21. The franchise is going to kind of go where we go. What are the little things that we can do where we have to be more vocal and put our voice in? Even though there are older guys on the team, we know it's on our shoulders. Can I get an extra rebound? Can I pay attention to detail defensively? You heard Cole Anthony say, I feel like I unlocked some things at the end of the year last year to be a superstar in my role. Because one thing we've been afraid of in the past is that, hey, Cole thinks he's a starter and he's not a starter. Is that a problem? But you heard him say, no, I wanted to be a superstar in my role. And that's what you want to hear from a bench guy who, when you look at the stats, wasn't that far from the best six men in the league. He only averaged 13 points a game, but he wasn't that far from Jordan Poole, who was wildly inefficient, and some of the other scorers in the league. So that's something that's in reach. Jalen Suggs, other guy, Wendell Carter Jr. talking about, how can I stay a little more healthy? How I fought through the plantar fasciitis. Can I be more of a leader? Can I stay on the court more? So to me, all those little details of how do you get from where you are now to become a top 15 offense, to become a top 15 defense, where you're really also starting off right. A lot of guys mentioned last year, 5 and 20. That sunk us. It killed us last year.
That was another thing that a lot of people.
But we're going on the road to start the year this year. How do we avoid that? We ain't going out like that again this year, even though it's hard. So it's like, that's what all the little, if everyone increases 3%, 5%, 3% here, all of a sudden the team is actually, especially if they're playing, that's the best availability. Availability. So that's what I got, was the attention to detail and how do you get a little bit.
Yeah, man, I picked up a lot of those too. And even like Jeff Weltman mentioned the attention to details and or maybe it was, I don't know if it was Jeff or it might have been Coach, but they were talking about, we were working on it last year, limiting turnovers, and controlling fouling. And they mentioned that again as ways this team will continue to improve and win basketball games too. And that connects right into your theme of attention and detail and stuff like that. Okay. Do you guys have a disappointment moment, or do you want to go to the next, to the final question?
Well, I should have a quick thing.
We kind of knew what it was. So
yeah, my only disappointment is that we're not already practicing. We're not already getting the fluff videos that you get where it's like, oh snap, Mac McClung's dunking it. Oh, did you see Jalen Suggs? I'd be like, that's what I want. I already want to get to the fluff stuff and just getting ridiculous expectations and all. That's the only disappointment.
I'm ready for us to read too much into lineup jersey or like practice jerseys and oh my God, Mac McClung was practicing next to Jonathan Isaac, who was practicing next to Franz and Paulo. That's the starting rotation right there.
Yeah.
Guys, shut up. We know. It's just
that's my job. I will do that.
Calm down.
That's what I do.
All right. We got just a minute left. CJ, what was your most fun moment today?
Fun moment. It had to be the rookies, man. And Caleb, just the young group, the young guys, and Ji. We always, for the past couple seasons, we kind of get caught up in like Suggs and Cole and Kel, but you kind of forget about the young guys and the guys that actually, make it enjoyable. So
you're hyped on this young group, and I'm psyched for you on that, man.
Because it's refreshing, man. Like you have Paulo and Franz, cool, and then like I said, you have the usual bunch that we always talk about. We spend so much time just like on those 3 or 4 guys, but then. You forget about the rookies that are actually fun, and Caleb. Everybody forgot about Caleb.
Everyone loves Caleb. He's the best.
Yeah, so it's dope, man. Goga, So,
Malik, what about you, man?
I gotta be Joe Ingles. Watched him walk in, and he made the media sing "Happy Birthday."
His nickname is Joe,
and he looked at a couple guys. He's like, "Oh, are you guys singing? Anybody didn't sing? No more questions this year. I'm not answering any questions for you guys." So, and then at the end, he was like, "This is the first and last time I'm doing this. See you around." Those kind of vibes, especially a guy who literally said, "It's the first time I didn't know anybody on the team when I came. I knew Mosley a little bit through acquaintances and through other guys, and 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. But I didn't know a doggone person on the team, and now." Cole's like, this is my favorite dude on the team. You know what I'm saying? So that's remarkable. What's going to happen around Christmas? What's going to happen by the trade deadline? There's a possibility of some real great vibes, especially if we're winning, because winning is such a great deodorant that, again, what if we're just healthy, y'all? What if all the bad luck? What if we're due for just, we just, Orlando can't season because Orlando just was unnaturally healthy this year. What if that's our story this year? Seriously.
Oh yeah, we're due for the narrative.
I'd be psyched for average health.
That's what I'm saying.
We're due for it. We're due for it.
So.
We would settle for the lady stepping on us on her back with her stiletto heels. We're so downtrodden. You know what I'm saying? But what if we actually get treated nicely?
Well, I think my favorite moment was just hearing that everyone is healthy this media day, and everyone seemed psyched and happy, and there's no real tension. And again, I don't expect any of that. As Jeff Weltman said, if you're not having good vibes on media day, then something's wrong with your team.
This is Philadelphia,
and everyone is excited right now, and it's a lot of fun. So,
everyone,
well, guys, I appreciate you. Malik, CJ, I know it's late. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of today to join me this evening and talk a little bit about Magic basketball and our reactions to Media Day. We're just getting started, fellas. We're just getting started. Listeners of the show, I appreciate you. You can check us out on a fairly regular basis at the Close Up Magic. Please like and subscribe. And that's about it. Go Magic. Peace.